Well, this world is a big place, and the people all gather in buildings and cities where the big rivers flow. But there's a road that leads out into wide open spaces, and it's there that I'm fixin' to go.
Tonight after dinner, we told stories. It was Magenta's idea. It has to be a story that describes your life, she said, but it can't be about something that happened to you. I was beginning to suspect that Magenta was fond of rules. To demonstrate what she meant, she told the first story. This is the story of Narada, she began. He was a yogi and a wanderer. He lived for 1,000 years and took many forms. In one of his forms, he was the companion of Lord Krishna and listened closely to Krishna's teachings. One day, Narada said to Krishna, "Tell me more about this Maya thing you're always talking about. What is Maya?" "Sure," said Krishna. "Let's just sit down in the shade of that bow tree over there, and we can talk. But first, it's awfully hot. Could you go to the village and fetch me a glass of cool water?" So Narada set out across the field for the village in the distance, but the more he walked, the further away the village seemed. And Narada thought, man, it is hot. When I get to that village, I'm going to get me a glass of water too. And when he finally got to the village, he knocked on the first door he saw, and there was the most beautiful woman, smiling at him through these long, dark lashes. And she said, "What would you like?" And Narada could hardly speak. He totally forgot what he came for, and he just blurted out, "Will you marry me?" And she said, "Yes." This got a few chuckles, especially from Emily. Magenta continued. So, they got married, and they were happy. Children came, and there were good times and bad times. There was always work to do. Sometimes the children got sick, and then the children got to be teenagers, and they were rebellious. And Narada built himself a political career, and he came to own lots of land. The children got married, and there were grandchildren, and Narada became the patriarch of a great family, honored by the village, his land stretching to the horizon. People flocked to him for advice, which he was always happy to give. But then one day came the big flood. A raging river washed through Narada's fields and into the buildings, sweeping away all the houses and all the people in them, including Narada's wife and his children and his grandchildren. Narada could not bear to watch. He was stricken with grief. He fell to his knees in the mud and he cried, "Krishna! Krishna! Save me!" And in the blink of an eye, the floods disappeared, and Narada looked up to see Lord Krishna walking slowly toward him across the dry land with compassion in his eyes. "Narada!" Krishna called out. "Narada, where's my glass of water?"